can always come back later with a hacker and see. No other door in there, right? So how do... Well, yeah, I guess...
Didn't I warn you not to set foot in here until the job was done? You should have listened to my advice. Farewell, Captain. If it wasn't already obvious, you're fired.
Wait, what? It's not what I picked.
Watch a pro at work. You got it, Captain. That was fun. Can't get past that armor. Don't mess with us. Hey, that's impressive.
Quick save.
Didn't I warn you not to set foot in here until the job was done? You should have listened to my advice. There's nothing to discuss. I can fix Adrenatime without you, and certainly without Mother. You wasted your time coming here, and worse, you wasted mine. But I won't let anything stand in the way of progress. You'll surprise me, Captain. Once we fix the chemistry of Adrenatime, the Marauder problem will simply take care of itself.
But a lot of folks are gonna suffer in the meantime. And you don't even know if it'll work.
The days of the old Adrenatime are numbered, and Marauders are bound for extinction. Insane people addicted to drugs are Mother's problem. Am I to be held accountable for her mess?
It ain't about who's accountable. Those people are hurting, and they're hurting others. You could help them.
Besides, Mother is determined to ruin everything she touches. First Adrenatime, then our family, and now my ambition. She never gave me a chance, forbade it. I see no reason why she deserves a second one.
And what about you, ma'am? Don't you deserve a chance to fix your troubles with her? Don't you both deserve that?
Mother never let me anywhere near R&D. I was always her incompetent little brat. Stand down? I think not, Captain. People want to buy clean drugs, and I want to sell them. Under my leadership, Adrenatime will live up to its promise, unlike certain mothers. Do you know why it was a disaster? Rushed production, cut corners, and a failure to communicate. Mother's mistakes, not mine.
You don't know much about how things get made here, do you?
My drug will be the pride and joy of the Ambrose family. And if we pick up where Gorgon left off, then the human testing phase is well ahead of schedule. Farewell, Captain. If it wasn't already obvious, you're fired.
So, I don't know if that goes any other way. I don't think if we did the persuade over the medical on that one, that would have changed anything. We'll just see what happens.
Here goes nothing. It's practicing, Dad. Rocket through! That's the last of them.
Like, I'm hoping she'll want to talk now. I would rather not kill her. Like Pravati said, let her help her mother fix the problem. Oh, well. She's dead.
It's done.
Okay, well, let's. I really wonder if we can talk her out of it.
Didn't I warn you not to set... There's nothing you waste... You surprised...
But a lot of folk.
The days of the old...
It's like, I wonder if this one would have worked. 70 inspiration, 70 determination.
Insane people addicted to...
It ain't a.
Besides... She never...
And what about?
Mother... People... Adrena Time has already claimed thousands of lives, but I intend to succeed where Mother failed. My drug will be the pride and joy of the Ambrose family. And if we pick up where Gorgon left off, then the human testing phase is well ahead of schedule. Farewell, Captain. If it wasn't
All right.
already obvious...
So that's not going to change. Hopefully her mom wasn't there.
You've finished it, Captain. You've put Gorgon down once and for all. I only wish that Minnie had seen reason. The good we could have done together. Join me for a toast in the drawing room. I do believe you're due a reward.
After all we've seen of this lady, are we sure this ain't a trap?
Hand to law, Captain. I mean you no harm. Your reasons are your own. I understand. Nonetheless, I owe you my thanks. Let me offer them to you in person. I'll have a drink waiting.
Alright, where is this? Made their groundskeeper live in this cave?
How'd you do that so fast?
Captain, I believe a celebration is in order. The Gorgon Project is dead, and we are not. Your motives interest me less than your actions, Captain. What matters is that when forced to choose sides, you picked Halcyons. All right, you've made your point. It's funny. When Spacer's Choice released Adrena Time to the public and began the Marauder Crisis, and I sabotaged all the Gorgon facilities, I thought that was the end for me. Then you came along and changed everything. I find myself at loose ends now, Captain. What happens next? I'll gladly humor one or two for the executioner of Gorgon. Before I explain, there's a critical detail you must understand. Halcyon is in the midst of a slow-moving crisis, one that will not improve on its own. The board knows this, but they're not lifting a finger to address it. In the absence of their leadership, I thought I could bridge the gap. So I tried to create a drug to expand our workers' minds and improve their bodies, help them work harder, longer, and smarter. With everyone at their best, I thought the colony might be able to innovate itself out of this hole. Don't be preposterous. Eugenics is bunk science. A charlatan's game. Snake oil for a pathetic elite who want to believe that they've earned their privileges, and that the poor have earned their suffering. My work is nothing like theirs. Don't tar it with their brush. If Spacer's Choice had given me time to perfect Adrenatime, I know I could have done it. My drug could have saved Halcyon. Don't presume to know what I have and have not tried to do to help Halcyon, Captain. Though that isn't to say I couldn't have tried harder or enlisted my peers' help. You're right about that. Was there anything else you wanted to discuss before I bid you farewell? I certainly did. Spacer's Choice's negligence sent Halcyon into a tailspin, and they refused to pull Adrenatime from the market to stop it. They forced my hand. I ended the project the only way I could, by destroying everything. I had faith a strapping heroine would come along someday and do it for me. I'm joking, obviously. You were a bolt from the blue. Or the black, as it were. Two reasons, actually. I couldn't bear to kill so many of my staff, even though our work killed exponentially more colonists. I didn't want to give up on my research, even after all it had cost us. In those early days of the Marauder epidemic, I still believed I could fix Adrenatime. As time went on, I became convinced I could cure the Marauders. But once again, Spacer's Choice has forced my hand. This time through my daughter. And I have to let that dream die too. I began by shredding all of the personnel files in the Office of Creative Incubation. Clarence was so alarmed by my barbarism, he forgot to call the corporate guard. All his precious numbers and all their precious rows. I should have set fire to them. I released the test subjects from human inquiry and auditing. The ghastly things we did to those people. Marion was screaming, I think, though by this point, my memory's hazy. Everything had gone a bit red. My blood was up, you know. If anyone had dared to stop me, I would have snapped them in two. Compound harvesting, enrichment, and molecularization. My second home. Well, my first home, really. Jasper had been doing some personal work there after hours. Something about primals and mirror neurons. I set the primals free. They tore through the lab like it was made of wet toilet paper. I know. I remember. I wasn't myself by then. Grief and horror had taken me to a dark place. Anyway, that's how it happened. Gorgon's first fall. It's not a pretty tale, but the truth rarely is. I would say my pleasure, but there's nothing very pleasant about this. Children do not remain so forever. She grew up, and we grew apart. I could have tried harder to reach her, to support her. I know. But I confess, I always found my work more engaging than child-rearing. And Minnie and I had so little in common. In the end, my distance seemed a blessing. Oh. The same words have echoed through my head for the past 20 years. I'd hoped, surely no one could see but me, that I didn't have the heart or the temperament. I'm sorry, I can't talk about this anymore. Is there something else I might answer for you instead? Down there, on Gorgon. It was, but I had my work to keep me company. Work, and a great many number of ghosts. Knowing I lived would have only put her at risk. I destroyed Spacer's Choice's premier research facility. If they'd hurt her to get to me, I'd never forgive myself. I was obsessed with the notion that I might find a cure for the Marauders. That I could right the tremendous wrong we'd done to them. I think I was a little mad. Perhaps I still am. I wanted to do it all on my own, to fix everything myself. But the problem of the Marauders was too complex for me to solve. And with Gorgon gone, it will remain that way. Not for lack of trying. I had some close calls in the early years. But Marauders aren't especially observant. Easy enough to tiptoe past with practice. Of course. Anything else? Or shall I let you see yourself out? The satisfaction of a job well done isn't enough for you? I'm only joking, of course. Please take this, with my thanks. It's not much, but you deserve recognition for your efforts. I know your crew played no small part in this as well. Thank you.
Really? No more prepare to die, little weasel?
You're welcome, ma'am. I hope you take this life and do something better with it.
Halcyon owes you both a tremendous debt. You're right. I can never repay you for your efforts here. I only hope the law honors you accordingly. Well, it's time we stop looking back and turn our eyes to the stars. Where will the future lead you, Captain? Halcyon doesn't deserve your tireless efforts, but I'll be damned if she isn't lucky to have you. In any case, I do believe this is the end. Law willing, Adrena time is dead for good, and the Marauders will die out with it. Goodbye, Captain, and thank you again. May the stellar wind be ever at your back. May Minnie's soul rest easy now.
Reduces their armor permanently? Okay. Just meh items. Alright. That is this one done. Is there a new quest set too? Talking to Phineas. We'll do that real. We'll save before we talk to him, just in case, because I don't know how far into the story we are. And for close.
We've arrived at Phineas's orbital lab.
Well, that's his busted ass ship. Gotcha.
I've kept myself busy in your absence, optimized my formula. I'm now confident I can revive the remaining colonists. All I need now is the dimethyl sulfoxide. I'll take as much as you can give me. What? Oh, yes, well, that's obvious. Anyone with 2 working labs can see this colony's slouching toward oblivion. Why do you think we've been doing all this? I revived you to help me save Halcyon from annihilation. Hold on. Let me see if I understand this correctly. You're saying that Halcyon's on the brink of total collapse, and the chairman's plan to save all of us is to save himself? I always knew Halcyon was heading toward a systems collapse, but I never imagined we were already there. The board made this crisis, and now they want to solve it by freezing the rest of us? That's not a plan. That's a goddamn escape clause. That makes 2 things we don't have. Time and chemicals to revive the other settlers. None of this was supposed to happen. I was supposed to revive the Hope's colonists. We were supposed to have enough time to solve the problem before we all starved. Human test subjects? Oh, that's grotesque. That's unthinkable. That's exactly what I'd expect out of the board. Thank you. You've brought me enough chemicals to get started, at least. I'm just sorry they came at the cost of human lives. Those poor people, they must have died in agony. What exactly was the board trying to accomplish? You say the board's trying to freeze their subjects over and over again without inflicting permanent damage? Well, they're nowhere close to solving that problem. I'll tell you this much. The board scientists are hopelessly lost. After years of fruitless experimentation, they've made exactly 0 progress. I used to work for these people. I'm intimately familiar with the utter incompetence of the board's own scientists. We're out of time. We're out of chemicals. We may very well be out of options. If the board has their way, we're all going to be spending the rest of our lives frozen in stasis. Do you realize what this means for the Hope? For your fellow colonists? The board's going to kill them all. Toss them out into space, just to make room in their hibernation chambers. Short of lining up every member of the board and shooting them in the back of the head. Do you know what's waiting for us on the Hope? Scientists, engineers, artists, the brightest minds Earth ever sent us, uncorrupted by the board. The board's going to dispose of them all, and transformed the Hope into a prison for the rest of us. They're likely on their way to the Hope as we speak. We need to get to those colonists before the board. I have enough chemicals to start reviving a few of them, but no easy way to get them off the Hope. Merciful gibbering law, you're a genius! We bring the Hope to us. Skip the entire ship across the distance of colony space, right next to my lab. Yes, exactly. You're a step ahead of me, but I perceive the shape of your plan. If we link up the Hope to the Unreliable, then use your navigational computer to calculate a reasonably safe vector, we can skip the entire colony ship into the rings of Terra 2.
I don't know much about skip drives, not the physics anyhow. I do know the Hope's real massive. How's our bitty little ship supposed to skip it?
Excellent question, my sharp-witted mechanic. You will use your own ship to power up the Hope's skip drive. Your navigational computer can handle the rest.
I've got a healthy disregard for personal safety, but this sounds crazy, even to me.
Your instincts are correct. By any reasonable definition of sanity, this plan is crazy. Isn't it wonderful? You'll need to switch on the Hope's auxiliary power using the Unreliable. Then head to the bridge. Your navigational computer, Ada, should be able to activate the Hope's skip drive. Once you've skipped the Hope next to my lab, I'll have easy access to the frozen colonists. I can start reviving them immediately. Certainly. How can I help? Skip drives were never designed to be used within a system, but I skipped my ship across Halcyon when I rescued you, and that turned out fine, mostly. That is, I ruined my ship and nearly killed myself in the process, but the maneuver was well within acceptable margins of risk. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It wouldn't surprise me. When I pulled you out of the Hope, the board nearly intercepted me. I expect they stepped up security since my little act of larceny. Unlikely. The Hope is as massive as the Groundbreaker, but compared to the rings of Terra 2, positively minuscule. The board might notice, possibly, depending on the position of their heads relative to the depth of their collective posteriors. I know you're wondering why I'm doing all this. Why I believe the people on the Hope are the answer to the colony's problems. The Hope is carrying some of humanity's most brilliant thinkers. Scientists, engineers, experts in their field. If we work together, we can still find a way to save Halcyon. The board would have us believe Halcyon is beyond saving. I choose to believe otherwise. If there's even the slightest chance we can save Halcyon from oblivion, then we have to take it. Certainly. How can I help?
Can we talk? So we're really gonna do this? I've seen lots of crazy, Captain, but Phineas is in a class of his own. Do you really think he knows what he's doing? Sending us to skip the Hope into Terra 2's orbit right under the board's nose? There's a sobering thought. Makes me want to drink. I think this whole plan's insane, but it'll make a good story, you know, if we survive. Speaking of, I get that Phineas thinks he's saving the colony, but what about you? Why risk your neck on this crazy scheme? Coming from anyone else, that would sound like a line from one of those Odeon Pictures movies. but I think you really mean it. Still, all this depends on the other Hope colonists. Are they gonna pull us out of the shit? Or are we all just gonna leave a bigger, uglier stain on this corner of the galaxy? This is why I like you, Captain. Well, whenever you're ready to do this, I'm with you. Anything else?